Welcome to the Galaxy Brain Podcast, Episode 4. And this time we have 0 guest stars, but that's okay.
It's
We
kind of lonely
have
now.
a lot of... Yeah, but we have a lot of guests lined up for the future. Perhaps a returning guest star, so... Let's see, what has been going on recently? Final Fantasy VII Remake, for one. That's got a wacky ending. I wanted to talk about that for a little bit because I find that for writers, people find foreign writers to be more compelling because they understand them less. I don't remember if I talked about it or not, but when people talk about subs and dubs in anime, for example, people like to listen to the Japanese sub because the dub for English is often considered cringy, but overseas, when people listen to their own language, Japanese, they seem to think the same way for their own language. So there are arguments that the language is universal because the emotion is always there, but it's not always present in English, but that seems to be somewhat biased. So, yeah. I think I did bring this up, actually, but in a different form when I was talking about inspirations overseas last episode with, like, Steven Universe and stuff, and how
but I don't think you exactly
overseas they love... Yeah, well, I brought up how overseas they love our cartoons, and a lot of animators love anime that are from the West.
It's weird, I think. It's like, I don't know, we sometimes tend to like just strive away from our own countries, sort of. I know a lot of people aren't very satisfied with their own countries, maybe because they know them the most or something. I'm not sure if that's the case, the factor.
I think that's exactly the case, actually, because another example with I already talked about Nomura and Final Fantasy VII's remake and it being all weird, but like another example is Metal Gear and Hideo Kojima, because people love how weird and experimental his stuff is, but when I see the same level of experimentation in Western things with a creator that people can actively interact with, it's considered to often be just weird shit or pretentious or whatever. But since there's this sort of barrier overseas, now like Nomura and Kojima are considered to be like pretentious, but a fun level of pretentious, so no one cares. In truth, I don't think either creator is really all that pretentious. They're just doing the best they can. And while I do think Nomura is more of an artist than a writer, in Kojima's case, I think he has some profound things to say, but no one really understands him that well. And, well, I think this is a bit of a deeper conversation that goes into many video topics, so maybe I will have to record this little snippet after we upload this and use it in a video to explain some of my stances, and that'll be interesting, because I think with a lot of my podcast topics, it all circles back to what I think and what will be in future videos.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of topics from this podcast itself. It's kind of amazing, actually, that we can come up with such stuff to talk about, but it's actually not very fit for a podcast or something like a more elaborate response or something. And since we talked about weirdness, I kind of like started playing this. Well, I mean, it's an alpha game, a game in an alpha state yet, but Juice World. It's like I told you like right before the podcast I'm gonna be playing it for a bit if until it starts, and now that it is, I'm gonna talk about it. It's kind of a physics-based game. I don't know what it's gonna shape up to be like. The creator himself said that it's gonna be something like you can explore in it and shit. So it's kind of like a physics sandbox, but also has RPG elements in a way because you have this very jelly-like wobbly fucking human being that looks like a fetus, except for it can walk on its tiny little legs and swing its tiny little arms. Um, and I played this for a little bit, and it's pretty freaking fun because you have to sway your mouse to like swing your weapon, and it's kind of ingenious to be honest. The guy said he wants to add more enemies in the future updates and more guns, and I kind of see why because at the moment there's not much content, but like you should probably check out Juice World anyway. It's pretty fun for what it is already. I
Yeah.
had fun like just mauling crowds of fucking clowns in the game.
So I'll put it in the description, and that'll be the new thing to shield this week.
Yeah, sure. Then we always need to show something this week, like my comic. Oh yes, we reached the quota of shilling. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a bit of a chiller podcast than usual, I think, but that's all right because I had a plan for today.
What is your
Because,
plan?
well, I think I told you before, at least alluded to it, but I wanted to talk about some stories, some memories from the past. So,
Oh yeah. On this front, I'm not very
yeah.
like. Sure, I
Uh,
guess you can begin
I'm
though.
not. Okay. Well, based on what I've heard about you, you do have some interesting stories to tell. They just might be too private, maybe, or maybe you just don't remember them for how interesting they are.
Probably the latter, though I don't really consider much of the stuff that I remember to be interesting in any way. But I could talk about some RPG session instead I had today, but okay, not now.
Yeah. So another time, if that RPG system that you were playing around with becomes public, that might be something to advertise sometime. But it's
Yeah,
in
but
an early stage,
very
and it's
early.
being experimented on. So who knows?
Uh huh.
Who knows what can happen with it? One thing I considered was that it could be like online D&D,
Kind
where
of
you
is
play
like
with
that
a random
already.
group of strangers. Yeah, yeah. So something that's a bit personal is that I feel like with a lot of my life, I've been somewhat passive to the kinds of people I surround myself with. I don't think that's really the case with my online presence, really, but in real life, I think I've surrounded myself with like pathological liars like multiple times, and I've had like really loud pathological liar friends,
Oh,
at least like 2 to 3 times. The first time, I actually defended and stood up for this one guy in front of my entire class. This was actually back in grade school, so my teacher actually congratulated me for it because everyone was giving the dude shit. But well, as I've come to realize, well, basically a bunch of dudes are calling him like a Nazi and stuff. And yeah, keep in mind this was back in like third grade. He was that one kid who was going through a World War phase where he was just really interested in war and the world
yeah.
wars and stuff.
Yeah, it's very common for
Yeah,
like teenagers to be interested in this shit, and I kind of understand why even. It's not just because of Hitler, but just actually Hitler is part of it, but not only him.
but unfortunately, from what I've heard, it seems like he legitimately has become a neo-Nazi in recent years. I haven't interacted with him with years, and we're not even close to living nearby each other. So, yeah, that if I could take that back, if I could verify that he's indeed a neo-Nazi, now I'd probably take that back. Take back my defense and just not associate with him anymore.
But like I don't know, maybe he just became one like later on, like very later on.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, that's something I considered, but I'm not sure.
a third grader Nazi though, like a little fucking Hitler Jugend member, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like no, yeah, this basically just tiny little fucking Nazi that I don't really think it would be easy like not easy. I don't think it's too probable that that kid could like become something like this. I mean, I don't know if unless
family
you
might have.
ever.
Yeah, his family might have influenced him. I'm not sure. Like
Mm,
that's the only possibility I can think of. I don't remember his family being like that at all, though. I don't remember them being bad at all. And I know that's like usually a red flag. Like, you know, there's always stories of, wow, he was such a nice guy. How could he do that? But, I genuinely don't remember them being anything like that.
no, and
As in, like, they
it's
didn't
not.
even have, yeah,
Yeah,
they would have had to have been like really blatantly, uh, like I went to their house and stuff. Like at some point, I would have had to have seen something that was a little suspicious, but I didn't.
like but they weren't like too nice. Like this is also like kind of wrong upbringing in a way because you kind of make the kid like just no consequences of his actions whatsoever.
There was another time, which was like years later in like middle school, where there's another guy, uh, who he was like the biggest bullshitter ever. Like he pretended that he knew like Bloods and Crips and stuff, and he thought he was like a super gangster and stuff.
Oh, this guy,
Uh,
yeah. I think
yeah,
there.
and I
I
told
think you
you
should talk about
yeah,
him
I
anyway because he's a fucking amazing guy.
I told you the story about how he told a story about how a friend of his who is a gangster apparently like
Like,
castrated a dude mid
yeah,
fight.
it's so fucking ridiculous now that you just say
Yeah,
it. I know how that he specifically described it that he like cut behind his balls to castrate him, but like now that you mentioned it, it's like fucking. I imagine just a guy in a ninja suit pulling somebody's pants down, his balls just dangle, and he just fucking does mega slice with his knife, and the balls
yeah.
just fall off.
I think the full story was that he pinned him down on a desk because this was in class, like after class when everyone was away. And then like he got out his knife and fucking pulled his pants down and then cut him like right behind the balls or something, which is fucking
Okay,
bullshit. But
I didn't even hear the part with the classroom. Like, okay, I would understand if it was somewhere in an alley or something, but like fucking classroom, okay. And nobody would
uh,
notice or hear the guy screaming, like at all. Nobody.
I think he also said that like he was in first grade and then lost his virginity to like a 16-year-old girl or something, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I would sure brag about like having sex. I would.
Sex in first grade when you're like 8 years old.
Yeah, yeah, fucking. I'm gonna pull out my tiny little like 1 inch dick. Fuck a girl that's like twice my size. Yeah, that works. This like a fucking story straight out of a fucking Rule 34 comment section.
Yeah. I don't think I wanted to okay, this might sound creepy, but I did want to find out if he's like still doing stuff and like what he's doing now
Mhm.
because he moved away. But I can't find any information on him. I know his full name, well, his first and last name, but I can't find anything on him. So, I mean, he did try to remain secretive, probably because he's like a professional bullshitter, sort of. Like,
Is it a job now?
but I mean, I don't know. Uh, let's see, what else did he say? He was wild. Like, there was two other friends that moved away. uh, at some point, and he was friends with both of them, but both of them loved to call him out on his bullshit. But when they left, I think, in order to keep the lie going with me, he kept trying to talk shit about them once they left, so that they wouldn't seem like reliable sources of calling him out on his bullshit anymore.
Yeah, but like it's kind of hard when like it gets kind of easy when they just leave. But on the other hand, I don't think that was very convincing if you already knew that he was the bullshitter. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, good job, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was so weird. I just remembered another story where so like one of my nerdier friends, right?
Yeah.
He wears glasses. He looks like the stereotypical nerd almost. Kind of acts like one, but that's what makes him like kind of. That's what makes him kind of funny and fun to be around. Those types of people are actually kind of charming.
Hmm.
But what happened was like the fake gangster dude uh, like went up to him. I think he like just brushed him lightly. So what he did was he took the dude's glasses and stomped on them, and then
No.
like he tried to brag about how badass he was, that he scared him away, when in reality all he did was just like destroy this dude's property and
And
like
he
get in
just
trouble
stared
for
at
it.
him like
Yeah.
the fuck. He doesn't even get intimidated. Like I don't
Yeah, he
know.
legitimately, I don't know, he seemed to have this image that like being mentally unstable or just being easily irritable was a sign of badassery, because like he started immediately throwing hands at this one dude who kept trying to poke him and make fun of him, because I assume he also knew that he was full of shit, that he's a bullshitter. Everyone knew that, but uh it was in class, by the way, when he started like throwing hands at the guy who's like a
Oh
foot
god.
taller than him.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
that looked
he
like.
didn't do any damage. He didn't do any damage, of course, because the dude's way bigger than him and way stronger. But after the fact, he kept trying to act like he knocked him out, or that like he kicked his ass or something.
Jesus Christ. Like
When all that really happened was that the teacher immediately saw that he was trying to lay him out, and then the true story did get told to the teacher, that he was that this the bigger guy was just trying to make fun of him and annoy him and stuff. So the bigger guy got in trouble, but the bullshit gangster dude, did not.
yeah, because of his appropriate reaction to the situation. You know,
Yeah, there's nothing more appropriate than just throwing hands out of nowhere.
yeah, like especially out of nowhere. Like I kind of felt like this very often that I really, really, really wanted to punch a fucking dude out for like no reason. I knew I would get away with it because I was like usually in schools I was like a teacher's pet. Like every fucking teacher loved me. And on the other hand, there were a lot of kids that tried to make fun of me. Not specifically for the reason that I was like a teacher's pet, but more like because I was a very gullible person. Um, and like really, I don't really have a story to tell about that, but I'm more like, you know how many times I wanted to punch a dude, just fucking punch his lights out, but I am too weak to even do that. Like most people that I even wanted to do shit to were like way stronger than me, way stronger. Like they would probably
Eh,
beat me
I
up.
don't. Well, I don't think. I don't think punching him would be a matter of strength. Really, it's sort of just a matter of skill. If they're both, if they're just people within your grade or something, you can, like, hit them and do some damage. But that's also not something you should be doing, like, ever.
Yeah.
And I hope the story with the fake gangster dude should hopefully illustrate that, because I don't know, I kind of hate that guy now, and I feel
I
like I could probably kick his ass,
yeah, me
which is
too
funny.
probably. We should gang up on him someday. Like just get a baseball bat or something.
Yeah, if the NSA is listening, this is not criminal conspiracy. This is just a bit.
This is no, this is an attempt of assault, in fact, but
Okay.
nobody's gonna talk about that. Okay, nobody. Oh, gee, when I was young, I remember I like used to travel a lot with my sister, like around the country, because I never really leave my country at all, which is kind of funny. Because I can say that I stepped outside my own country in a way, but like crossed the boundary on foot, but never can't actually say that I like moved away a significant bit from it. It's like you have the Czech Republic, Czechia, whatever. Yeah, I went for a trip there like twice, I guess, and two of these times I um, two of these times we like crossed the border, and there wasn't that much of a difference between like behind the border. It's just like I think like this makes sense kind of because it would be kind of stupid to like not accommodate for the people that are just like a kilometer away from you. But either way, like this is not relevant to the Czech Republic trip at all. But I like when I was young, I like went on a lot of trips with my sister, probably because her like ex-husband, had a car. Um, and, it was kind of fun. We went to like the mountains. We went to the beach. I guess like across the fucking country. So it took some time to get there, and we didn't just you know stay there for just one day. I kind of miss these days because now I don't really have the opportunity to just travel around like this anymore. Not even like
Yeah. So, how many countries have you been to then? Just two? Just your home
technically
country
yes.
and
I would not even consider that to be two though. Like maybe I mean
one
I
and a
crossed.
half?
Yeah, one and a half sounds better because I just don't feel like crossing the border like a few kilometers into the country is like actually being in a foreign country at all. You get it?
Oh, hey, that reminds me too. So
Yeah.
I've been to four countries total.
Oh, that's way
So that
better.
would be my yeah. So it would be the U.S., Canada. I've been to Sweden and I've been to Finland. So those are my four countries. But Sweden and Finland are both good. They have a high quality of life, but I feel like they're a bit too disconnected from the rest of the world in a way. Uh,
Mm.
or at least that's how the people feel, sort of. That's how the politics sort of is. Usually in European countries, they're just sort of in their own bubble and they don't like things that are outside of it. But what can you do?
Yeah, I
But
don't.
yeah, Canada, I have a bit of a strange story that I went to a Canadian McDonald's and then when I left, I think like 15 minutes later there was a shooting and we just narrowly missed it.
Uh, Jesus Christ! Like, I. How often did shootings even happen in Canada?
Not often at all. So that's particularly rare. Not only did we just so happen to go there where there was a shooting, but we also just narrowly missed it.
This is a lot of luck right there, and bad luck too. Did anybody get hurt in this? Like, did you read up anything on it?
Uh, my family did after the fact, but I don't remember. I think I'll have to find it again. I guess it shouldn't be that hard since there's not a lot of Canadian attacks really. I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember if there
mean,
were any fatalities.
yeah, I don't know why would you even shoot anybody in there, or like in a country like Poland too. I don't know. Like Canada, maybe it's a more prosperous and everything else country, but like I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't seem like a country like where shootings should happen at all, unless there are a few exceptions. Same for Poland, really. Part of it is tied to like its immigration policies, I guess, and the other part is just I don't think people find it very attractive to be in this country. I don't know. You tell me. I might sound very educated on my own country, but I am not. I am in fact the complete opposite of it, and I am in great belief that I probably should fix that, but I don't want to.
Well, I mean, there is yeah, there is a lot, but from what I've heard from you, a lot of the news is not reliable in Poland. It's a lot of propaganda and stuff. So I don't know.
It's kind of weird, really, because the news that I called propaganda were mostly about LGBT. It's kind of fucking hard to talk about it at all because now I don't hear anything at all, and partially it's because of what's going on at the moment. But I just guess they don't really make headlines anymore. I mean, like back in 2012, they did a lot, like,
Uh,
and it.
from the from the sounds of it, Poland did basically have their own sort of Charlottesville, but for LGBT people, where there were a bunch of Polish nationalists and
Oh yeah, the
uh,
protests.
pro LGBT protests going on that got sour and sort of turned violent.
Mm, Yeah, I mostly unfortunately heard about this on Twitter though, because I didn't hear that much about it on like the media when I watched. There was not that much that they said about it. Maybe vaguely mentioned it and I didn't hear it or something. I do know that like um, way back then there were a lot of accusations like because there was like I don't know when it was exactly, but and I don't really want to bullshit people because, like, again, I'm not very informed on what's going on here. And back then, there was like this one case that made it into the news about like some sort of I don't know, fucking LGBT person talking to kids about something. And when I mention kids, you probably know exactly what they wanted to make it sound like. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about this case, unfortunately, but I know that a
Well,
lot of people have this mentality that, like, if LGBT people talk to kids, it's because they either want to, like, rape them or just, I don't know, fucking change their minds, some sort of fucking mindfuck brainwaves. I don't know. It's kind of,
that's the tactics of the media, and so
yeah,
my
yeah,
recommendation my recommendation to a lot of people is the people listening right now, stay galaxy brained. Do not believe everything you hear. That's sort of been the theme so far, hasn't it?
yeah,
Because
get your,
I talked about my pathological liar friends. Avion talked a bit about the pathological lying media.
I
So
mean,
we're
not that
just
much. I
surrounded
don't
by
really want to
liars.
just sound completely uninformed, so I don't want to say too much. So I instead say
Well, I
a lot of
mean,
vague shit.
I know for a fact that the media has lied to you based off of what you said in about your local news, for example, and or just Polish news in general. Uh, and I know the media has lied to us a lot. Like, I don't know if I should give examples. I might be going down too far into a rabbit hole, but basically,
Yeah,
just Standing Rock. All of the news about violent protests in Standing Rock was a total lie. There's no reliable sources confirming that there were violent protests there, and it's all a sham. There was a total media blackout there for people actually standing with the protesters, just nonstop support for the oil people.
I
So
don't really
again, stay
understand.
galaxy brain.
Yeah, I don't even understand how that
Yeah.
happens. I probably need to buy a double layer tinfoil hat for that, because the one layer just doesn't solve it.
At the same time, the media and news in general, don't. I think it is a good practice to just ignore them sometimes because it's harmful to listen to them. It will harm your mental state, and in some cases, perhaps that's the point.
It happens a lot generally when you listen to like negative news overall. Like, it's good to stay informed, but it's not good to just fucking punch yourself in the brain every single time. Like, it's necessary to just hear out what's going on in the world and also to understand what would be the correct course of action during such an event. But um, then you kind of have to start wondering how much you are listening to this kind of stuff. Because if you listen too much, and I don't know how much is too much, but let's assume that too much is just something that even if you would like to willingly take, you shouldn't probably take.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I think it's sometimes just a matter of pessimism and optimism. But for example, I think there's a bit of pessimism and optimism going on with this podcast, maybe because, for example, we have well, we've just started. We don't have a lot of views, but we have a pretty dedicated small following, so that's optimism. And some more
yeah.
optimism is that we also have a pretty successful friend who guest starred for us last episode as a new YouTuber.
It's
So
like,
that's another thing.
it's like he
And
was
yeah,
incredibly successful overall. Cause like 1,000 views in like I don't know, 2 weeks maybe 1 week. I didn't count the days, but I was pretty sure that he would reach like 1,000 someday. I was hoping he would reach the like the day after he submitted it, or like a day after the day he submitted it. I mean, that didn't work out, but he still got the goal, so like, fucking amazing.
another thing is that one of our guest stars who couldn't make it today, uh, he actually beat Shadow the Hedgehog 100%. Now, if you don't know what that means he completed the game like 300 times. And I think the only recorded thing of this was a tool assisted speedrun. So he completed the game hundreds of times over, all on his own, and he was not a robot. So that's an achievement, I think.
Nice
And
cock,
he has the
basically.
video to prove it as well. Yeah, that maybe those types of games, where they demand you to have these micro goals that demand hours and hours and hours of extra playtime. Those are the types of games I sort of hate. Like I was playing one, Dragon Ball Raging Blast. That's basically that entire game. There's only like one campaign to go through, online mode and a versus mode, but they have so many so many micro goals for you to accomplish that they want you to basically do those to add hours and hours of playtime, and it's not fun. The game's basically broken. It's a piece of shit, but sometimes it's fun, sometimes, but you know, honestly, I think my opinion has soured because I've beaten the game twice, but I've never 100%ed it, and I don't think I ever will.
That kind of makes me wonder if like 100% any game should be like, not saying achievable, because it should be achievable. Like, what the fuck does 100% stand for? It stands for completion. Complete completion. Jesus, that's a fucking. Um,
Yeah, I do think that your goals in your video game do need to be achievable, like by a normal person, without them putting in so much effort that it's not even worth it in the end.
yeah, but how much content is too much exactly?
I
And
mean, there's such thing as content that isn't really content, and that's sort of what Shadow the Hedgehog and Dragon Ball Raging Blast do. where they just have you do the same tasks over and over until you achieve some arbitrary goal, or you play the game hundreds and hundreds of times and it's ridiculous.
I also wouldn't want to repeat the same game like all over.
Shadow the Hedgehog, it's just they have basically to 100% the game you need to complete every single permutation, I think, of the every possible ending. There's only 10 endings plus a true ending, so that's 11, but there's so many paths to get to those 10 endings that you have to complete every single permutation to 100% it.
But God,
and I mean,
why?
like,
That's just fucking
yeah,
stupid.
it's total nonsense. But apparently, if you do it, then you get to see a teaser showing off Silver the Hedgehog, who would be in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
No, I thought it would just show off Shadow's nice cock.
Yeah, I think that'll be in the thumbnail because you keep bringing it up.
Yeah, I think I should stop. Yeah, I don't really like talking about like politics a lot usually. I mean, generally, I don't like talking about stuff I don't know much about. So when I mentioned like, Poland or shit, I kind of didn't want to say too much because I could be easily corrected by somebody who's much more informed than me. And I kind of don't want that. My fucking ego is off the fucking charts.
I guess so.
It's like very fragile.
I don't think someone should hold that much of an ego that they hate being corrected or anything. But I guess it depends on how it's done anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
one goal for the future of this channel is to, when I start making some actual content, is to reach 100k subs so I can get that silver play button. Because then that'll be an actual achievement. Then I'll have achieved something physical and valuable out of an internet hobby, and I think that's something worth celebrating.
Yeah, I would celebrate with you. I would buy you a fucking 10,000 bags of chips, I guess, and you would eat them every day and get very fat. And I would like say, "Oh wow, you got fat," and you would like hit me with the silver play button and tell me to get back to making sandwiches.
Peace.
You just agreed.
Assuming I'd be physically powerful enough to even lift the silver play button and hit you with it.
I don't know if it's made of pure silver. Like, it's very valuable. You could sell it. Like they would ever have the money to make you a fucking cast.
I don't know how valuable it is exactly, but they are. I think some people did put some of theirs up for sale. They are custom made though, so I don't know if there's really a point in selling it. It's definitely not a collectible because it does not have your name on it. So
yeah, it's. I don't know why would you want your silver play button when you haven't even reached like 10,000 subs or something, even 100. It's like, what use does it even have? You would have to like slap a piece of paper on it and say this is like this YouTuber's silver play button, and that kind of defeats the purpose of even having it.
some channels also don't qualify. So like channels that discuss controversial topics don't qualify. Channels that use horror channels do not qualify.
Oh jeez, I wonder why though. This like, I don't know, cheap horror? Something?
Sure, I think it's just because they don't want to support things that would be controversial to some people, but I mean, I wonder what the limits are. They are kind of vaguely defined, like you have to abide by the terms of service and stuff and the rules and guidelines, which I mean, okay. But I mean, sometimes those can be vague, and at what point is it too much exactly?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And,
the vagueness kind of helps more so the administrators themselves because they can just bend the rules in spite of them never even specifying them in the first place.
do seem to sort of be generous with how they hand out silver play buttons, so I don't think I'll have to filter myself too much. In fact, I don't think I'll be very proud if I constantly filter myself just
Yeah.
to get this one possible pie in the sky reward. That's kind of a little bit too far away for me to dream about right now, but
Yeah,
yeah, just a
just
little bit, we're only like less than
Jesus, they
1% of the
fucking
way.
scream. Oh, I kind of wonder who got the first silver play button though, because I don't know how when this like award itself get like produced. I don't know. Is that the right
It's,
word?
I think it's surprisingly recent.
Mm.
Uh, I think they do favor people who do innovative content of sorts. So uh, I don't. I think they also will not send play buttons to certain critics, which well, that concerns me a little bit. But uh, also they do check if you bot your followers, so you cannot artificially raise your subscribers by using bots because they will notice.
Huh. Okay, that's very cool actually.
I think that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, just I don't know how can they exactly determine what a bot is. Maybe they have some sort of criteria for that, but that's pretty. Yeah, like
Uh, Probably accounts that haven't been used and are recently created with other suspicious accounts. Probably something like that.
well, that's a reasonable criterion, I guess. But still, you know.
Since channel names will be printed on play button, I was thinking for multiple reasons to change this channel's name just to Moki
Yeah,
because I mean I don't want to have like multiple aliases and confuse people or anything.
yeah, Dick
And
Sucker 69.
plus if I have if like Moki was on a plaque, then I can have just one alias and then point to other people so that they understand this is mine. I did not buy it. I did not steal it. I did not kill anyone for it. It is mine.
It did not kill the original fucking Moki for it, yeah. I would not let anybody kill you, even yourself.
That's questionable. I believe that is a matter of free will if I choose to kill myself or not to or
I
not
could,
to
I
be.
could, I could just fucking strap your fucking hands and legs to a inanimate object of intense density, and you would not be able to do anything to yourself or to anybody. And the silver play button would be mine. They would.
I think I wonder if just talking about the merits of certain arts would be something YouTube would give the thumbs up to. I know Parashock X, if you know that channel, the channel that does all the challenges where if you see something or do something, the video ends. Like if you
Oh,
jump in Minecraft, the video ends, for example.
didn't hear of this guy, but I did hear of this kind of challenge, and I found it to be fucking stupid
Other
and lame.
channels, yeah, other channels tried to do the same types of challenge, but he started the trend and now that's all his channel is. He did end up getting a silver play button, and I agree. I think he is worthy of one because, I mean, obviously he met the subscriber threshold, and two, it is innovative content, innovative bite-sized content that YouTube would probably adore to promote.
Mhm. Generally, I wonder how do you even make this kind of innovative content? Because I know that, for example, RT made like the video with I forced 100 players to dig a hole in the world or something. I don't know if that was the original title. I should probably check that up. Check it up.
So,
Was
hey,
it even a
maybe
fucking
we
term?
Maybe we should do that one idea where we play survival on that one real world Minecraft map.
We got a deserted island.
Are
Yeah.
they able to make like copies of that map or something? Because I think people would enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. I just wonder, when did this trend even like start?
We got a
Because I know
deserted
that,
island.
god damn it, the video keeps autoplaying. Oh, I forced 200 Minecraft players to dig through the world itself. That was the original video. It's like his
Yeah.
most popular video on the channel too, and for a good reason, because he like actually has creative ideas most of the time. I really like his channel when he has something new to offer. Like recently, the newest idea he had to offer was like him playing with some other Irish people, and since they all have a lot of personality, and especially together, it just becomes extremely fun to watch them just scramble and do dumb shit in a video game, any video game really. It's, I don't know, it's kind of, I think, I don't know how you can exactly replicate it.
Yeah,
He
that reminds me. You do get a gold play button if you reach 1 million subs,
fuck
and
that shit.
you submit your application for it, and you get a platinum if you get 10 million. How many does
Uh-huh.
RT have? I think he's at 1
Oh.
million by now, right? 2 million?
Two
So he totally
million and
qualifies.
30, 33, fuck. 350. 2,330,000.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
I wonder if he ever submitted an application to get a gold play button because he totally could.
maybe. Let me Google. No, I don't. Yeah, if you know, like, if he actually submitted his application and got the golden play button, then like tell us or something, or tell him maybe. It would benefit him much more than us. Cause fuck, a golden play button. Why the fuck wouldn't he get it? Maybe he wouldn't know. I don't even know if he got the silver one.
Get both.
He could get
They're
both, but I don't know if he has any.
like 100K and 1 million and are kind of like low to get like such a reward, like a physical reward that they have to go out of their way to physically make these. And I mean, YouTube channels can grow pretty fast depending on how
Luck.
you handle it. Yeah. Like have you've seen all those Minecraft channels, right? A lot of
Yeah.
the newer ones like RT and Dream and
I
George Not
wouldn't call
Found
like
and
RT a Minecraft channel. I would even say that he began as a TF2 channel, but yeah. I'm sorry, I just had to
yeah,
be
he
pedantic.
basically is now. Okay, okay. But yeah, the Minecraft is what made them all grow, and they went from like going from like 1K a video to like hundreds of views to like hundreds of thousands to millions easily.
I would say it helped them
And
more so because RT, as I said, began with like TF2 videos, and that helped him grow a lot. And then he had the Minecraft videos that just completely boosted him up to godhood, I say.
yeah,
Can you remember watching his TF2 Strange Maps videos? I don't remember that was the exact name, but I do remember that he played the CTF2 Fort. Like, I'm gonna type that out because.
and also Scott the Woz went through the same thing. Basically, you can tell that his old videos compared to his new videos, they have a huge gap in views sometimes, going from like lower hundreds of thousands of views to like a bunch of modern videos having millions easily.
Hmm. Talking about like view gaps, I watch sometimes this YouTuber named Asai, or I don't know. Fucking, why is it that I never know how to read these names? But either way, he's a Guitar Hero YouTuber, I guess. he's a very good Guitar Hero player. Like he's extremely good. Like probably one of the best in the world, even maybe. Um, and whenever I look at his channel, there's this pattern that like there is videos that have like 10,000 views, and there's those meme videos that have like 100,000. And the gap is just so apparent that I kind of wonder why that happens at all.
Sometimes it's algorithms, sometimes it's preference, sometimes it's an outlier. There are always those channels who like upload topical memes, and then none of their other content can even come close because, I mean, they just made a meme once, and then no one else cares about what else they make.
Maybe that's
But
the
then there's
case with
always
him.
those.
Yeah.
There's always those meme channels that just keep making memes that get popular, and well, they do stay relevant, I guess. Those are all right. But other miscellaneous stupid content that's probably coming soon.
Oh yeah.
So I think I'm also completing a who would win scenario. It's not going to be on YouTube, although maybe I could make I could probably adapt it to YouTube with a script and stuff. Maybe I'll even adapt the little story that comes with it by
Oh,
hiring some newbie voice actors or something to go alongside it. So maybe look out for that. But other than that, I think I am going to wrap this up actually.
oh sure.
So yeah, you can show your comic again if you want, or we can
I
just close it up.
I could do it any time, but I think I already showed it a lot, and
Yeah.
until I
But
get
either
like
way,
more viewers, it doesn't change much. So
it will be in the description either way. It's going to be in the description every single time, so it
please,
will always
yes.
be there. And it will. I always link the first chapter, by the way, like the first issue. So that one is probably the one getting all the views. So check out the subsequent chapters too. We're on the third one so far.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even halfway done with the third chapter. It's kind of like drawing the comic, but it's also not like I'm gonna do it every single day. So I guess my schedule is pretty okay. I don't feel bad at all.
I think you're doing good.
Thank you.
And we also always have other projects going on. So I mean, who knows
Yeah.
what's going to happen? We'll probably advertise the hell out of them whenever they're done. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be all for now. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Yay. Oh, and play the outro song. Yeah.